Hey, are you mad? If you're upset, maybe you shouldn't be carrying that gun. If you're watching my videos, it's not any secret that I'm a big supporter of the Second Amendment, but I have 5 circumstances where sometimes I decide not to handle a firearm. The first of those is if I've been drinking. I am legally old enough that if I want one of these, my favorite, Guinness, I can legally enjoy one. But because I have a concealed carry permit, I have to consider, is it a good idea for me to be consuming alcohol and carrying a firearm? Personally, I've made the choice that if I'm going to like go out with my friends and have a couple of beers or something, I leave the gun at home. Or if I decide I still want to hang out but I want to have that firearm on me, I'd choose not to have any alcohol. Well, what if maybe, you're out at a party, you've made the choice that you don't want to drink, but you change your mind? Do you leave it in the car, or I'm curious what your strategy is for that. So let me know in the comments or give me a video response. Because, after you've had a couple of drinks, you can start to get really depressed and down, and that is an exceptionally bad time to be handling a firearm. But you might be feeling really depressed and down, and alcohol has nothing to do with it. That's my second circumstance, depression. And I don't just mean like you're bummed out because, your football team lost the game. I mean like you're in a depressed state of mind. I'm not a psychologist, but in school, some of the warning signs we learned are just wanting to sleep all the time, not enjoying the things that you used to enjoy, and just a general lack of motivation to do anything and withdrawing from your social life. If you or somebody you know is going through that depressed emotional state and they own firearms, we don't want that deep depression and firearms ownership to combine into a tragedy. So if you have that emotional state, reach out to somebody. Or if you know somebody around you who owns firearms and they're in a bad way, like mentally and emotionally, be their lifeline. Talk to them. Hopefully they won't get offended by you asking like, "Hey, do you want me to hang on to your guns while you figure your stuff out?" No one wants that tragedy that could occur from being severely depressed and having firearms. Depression and guns don't mix. But another thing that doesn't mix with guns is anger. And I mean like this huge, severe wrath. Not just like you're irritated because you dropped something on your toe or something, or somebody cut you off. But being in that like huge state of rage and firearms doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Personally, I choose to, when I'm in a situation where I'm starting to get mad, I take a step back and I cool off. I'm not an angry person and I like to be in control of my emotions. So I remove myself from whatever the circumstance is. Well, maybe you already have a gun on you and you're starting to get mad and it just keeps you're getting ready to boil over. What's your exit strategy? How do you handle that? I try to be in control of myself, and that impacts how I choose to handle firearms. But there are times where I can't help it. I'm not in control. Like, what if I get sick? Like these last couple of weeks, I've had this nasty flu head cold bug thing where I've been totally spaced out. I couldn't focus hardly long enough to put one sentence in front of another. And being in that like weird, dizzy mental state, I didn't feel like it was a good time for me to be going out to the range and shooting. Another time like that, or is if I'm on any kind of medication, like the doctor prescribes me anything where it says on the label either that it's going to make me drowsy or that I shouldn't be operating heavy machinery. Kind of makes sense to me that that's also not a good time to be using guns. My fifth circumstance where I sometimes choose not to be operating firearms is if I am extremely just exhausted. Sometimes just because I am massively busy between school and work and YouTube and writing and stuff, where I might pull a couple of all-nighters in a row, and at the end of that, I am just basically a zombie, where mentally I'm checked out. Those times I don't feel like maybe it's a good idea for me to be going out and trying to shoot, just because I like to feel like I'm completely self assured in my mental acuity that I can operate a firearm safely. I want to wrap up this video by asking a few questions. Have you been drinking? Are you depressed? Are you mad? Are you sick or on some kind of medication? Are you really tired? If you answered yes to any of those questions, should you be holding that gun?